Greetings, my friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are in the world. I don't know if you noticed, but over this past month or so, the output of videos has been a bit sporadic. I have been a busy boy, if you will. We are in the process of restructuring the organization, the Sect. We're expanding, we're growing, we're getting some fresh blood in, if you will. That sounds a bit evil. But anyway. And also, I've been editing my book. I'm hopefully on the final edit. So, getting out videos has been a little difficult. And also, answering questions on those videos that I have been making has been difficult. So what I'm going to attempt in doing today is answering some of those questions. Now, I can't answer all the questions on all my videos. There's just too many. And some of the questions are rather long. So if you want an answer to your question, keep that question concise. 1 or 2 sentences. Really, really long questions. I don't mind people dissecting my videos and so on and presenting ideas and all that. But if you want a specific question answered, make it very concise. Thank you. So we will start with, let's see here. Okay, now I'm not going to give the people's names, the individuals' names, because some people don't like that. So I will keep them anonymous. Let's see, we have one. Well, this is a statement. Thanks for inspiring true left-hand path devotees. Thanks for guiding us. Thanks for helping us see our worth and truly liberating us. Well, I have to say thank you to you who wrote that. I am flattered, truly flattered. Now, concerning that I have basically stated I'm writing a book, somebody asked, will there be a hardcover copy of said book? I don't know at this moment. I would like there to be, but I'm not sure what publisher I'm going through at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to be self-publishing or what. So I'm not positive. I do want there to be a hardcover copy. Another question. So, our consciousness is the only thing we know for sure that is real, right? Yes. I think, therefore I am. You know you exist if you have a consciousness. Now, you can't be certain that anyone else you see or speak to, or even me listening to my words right now, you cannot know for certain whether that is real. It is real. An example would be when you are dreaming at night within your dream realm, that is real. You think it's real. Now, sometimes you could lucid dream and you realize you're dreaming, but most of the time, you think what you're perceiving within that dream realm is reality at that time, even though weird shit could be happening. I don't know, you can be conversing with a rabbit. You can be, I don't know, sword fighting with dildos, whatever. It is real to you, all right? So yes, the only way of knowing that you truly exist is the fact you have a conscious mind. And the conscious mind is the only thing that you know is truly real. Also, you could be stark, raving, mad, imagining all this right now. You could be sitting in a padded room, drooling on yourself in reality, and just imagining all this. Think about it. Okay, another another question. Let's see. Well, this isn't so much a question, it's a statement. Some Christians argue that through logic they can kind of prove that God/Jesus are real. No, they can't. Logic and Christianity don't exactly mix. See, here in the West, I brought this up before, is we're too literal. And hence we have a hard time with metaphor. The gods and monsters, angels and demons are subjective experiences. All right, so anyway. Okay, this next question comes from a quote that I had given in one of my videos. You don't need to be protected from it. That is a huge aspect of who you are. You need to integrate it into your being. Integrate what exactly? What are you talking about exactly? You mean evil features of the human being? You need to, and all human beings need to integrate the shadow self into their psyche, into who they are. That's the problem with Christianity. That aspect of who you are is ignored. That aspect, according to the Christians, of who you are needs a buffer between you and it, instead of it becoming or being absorbed into who you are. All of us have a shadow side. All of us have that evil within. And if you ignore it too much, if you shun it too much, if you pretend like it's something separate from you, you know what's going to happen? Eventually, it can take over. It can take dominion. And what happens is chaos ensues. So, it is wise to integrate the shadow into who you are. Okay, this next question is coming from an individual. I do not think their first language is English. All right, they write, what do you mean the first creatures reproduce sexually Aphrodite? I've made this point a few times in a few different videos, and I think this is what they're getting after. I've stressed the birth of the gods as aspects of being. And Aphrodite, or Venus, is the goddess of love and lust and so on. And my point was that the first creatures that reproduced sexually basically imprinted lust into our genetic code. Get what I'm saying? I'm talking very, very, very primitive beings. We're going back maybe 1 billion years. I don't know. Another example would be Ares, or Mars, the god of war, first was imprinted into our genetic code, or came into being when that first, that early reptilian creature killed another of its kind, not for food, but because it wanted what that other creature had. Get what I'm saying? That imprint was put into the genetic code, because our genetic code goes way back to those earliest creatures. It's all about genes and genetic memory and so on and so forth. Okay, this one. Shiva doesn't support evil characteristics. Sinisterism is the acceptance of evil. then why you follow him? Yes, Sinisterism is the acceptance of evil. Okay. As I mentioned just a little bit ago, it's the acceptance of the shadow self into you, into who you are, into your whole being. And Shiva isn't a black or white God, if you know what I mean, and not a good or bad, negative, positive. Shiva has many positive attributes, of course, but that good-bad duality doesn't truly exist within Shiva, as that good-bad duality doesn't exist in most gods. So, acceptance of Shiva, or following Shiva, is acceptance of the self. Okay. Another one of my quotes. The first step in the destruction of the Orthodoxy, the right-hand path conditioning that may be still lingering in your heart and soul, and Shiva is the one doing the destroying. Okay, but what exactly are the Orthodoxy ideas that should be destroyed? Once again, the duality. That duality of good and bad. When in the ancient gods, it wasn't about good and bad, it was about order and chaos. We're too wrapped up in the good and bad. And when you do that, what happens, as I mentioned earlier, is that what happens is there is the denial of the shadow self. Hence you can't become a whole being. And how can you become self-deified, enlightened, born again, whatever you want to call it, without accepting the whole being? That is the problem with Christianity, the Christian Orthodoxy. And people, even though they go on to something else besides Christianity, that Orthodoxy, that idea of the duality of light and dark, good and bad, is still ingrained in their psyche. It's like etched in stone, and they can't let go of it. See? And Shiva helps you let go of it. See? It definitely connects to the last question. Okay, what do we have next here? So, Pan tried to rape Syrinx, and Pan represents the primal power of nature. So the primal power of nature is evil. Once again, it's not about good or bad. It's that idea of pure evil, no, it doesn't exist. There is no true evil in nature. There would have been a time within our primal history that one of our hominid ancestors a male would have grabbed a female, did his business, and then wandered off. There wasn't that morality of good, bad, rape, consent, if you will. It was just something that was done. It was an urge that was fulfilled. Now, how we structure our society right now, that's not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, to do that. See, it's evil as we see evil now is relative. Okay, friends, and now the final question of the day. What exactly does being a member entail? As in, I guess they're asking, member of the Sect of the Horn God. Now, becoming a member, you will first and foremost, you'll receive a package. Now, we mail these packages out quarterly. So when you do become a member, you might not get your package right away. Depends on when you become a member. Then you will have access to what are called the orders of the sect. The orders of the sect are, in a sense, courses. And as you fulfill these orders, you rise through the degrees of the sect to the point where you become the highest of the degrees, the Hyperborean. Now, also, when you're in the sect, you have access to our Zoom gatherings, as we call it, not Zoom meetings. Meetings are boring. We have gatherings where we get together and discuss Sinisterist philosophies. Sometimes they can go on for hours. They're a lot of fun. Actually, I really, really enjoy our gatherings. And also we have real world events. Now in the past we had a lot more because we had an actual compound, if you will, a winery in Northern California where we had gatherings, physical gatherings, real world. But unfortunately that winery burnt down. So we are thinking of having a real world event in Las Vegas, the Sect in Sin City, if you will. We're still working out plans, and only sect members will have access to this event. So that's just some of the things you'll get by being a member of the Sect of the One God, and also you will have the, how should I say, the honor of calling yourself a sect member. All right, my friends, that's a few of the questions. I hope I've answered them to your satisfaction. If you have any more questions, leave them down below, but please kind of keep them specific, if you will. All right, until next time.